Let me ask you to imagine something. You're doing everything right. You're eating clean, you exercise regularly, you cut out sugar, cut back on carbs, you even stopped using salt because everyone told you it's bad. But still, the weight won't budge. That stubborn belly won't go away. And slowly, a thought creeps in. Maybe my body is just broken. Have you ever felt that way? I remember one of my patients, her name was Carol, 62 years old. She came to see me with a look of quiet frustration. She said, "Doctor, I've tried everything. Why does it feel like my body is working against me?" And I told her something that I want to share with you today too. Maybe you don't need to do more. Maybe you just need to stop doing one thing, and that thing is stop being afraid of salt. I know it sounds strange, because for decades we've been told that salt is the silent killer. But what they don't often tell you is this. When your body doesn't get enough salt, it turns on a hormone system called RACE. And once that system is activated, it starts holding onto fat, increasing insulin resistance, and putting your body into a state where burning fat becomes incredibly hard. That's the real silent issue, not the salt itself. I know, it sounds backwards, doesn't it? We grew up in a time when nearly every doctor said, cut the salt to protect your heart. And yes, for some people with serious medical conditions, managing sodium is important. But for most folks over 50, active, trying to lose weight, still living fully, cutting too much salt might actually be the reason your body is stuck in storage mode. See, when you don't get enough salt, your body doesn't just sit back. It senses that drop as a threat. And to survive, it flips on this special built-in alarm system called RAAS, the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. I sometimes call it the endocrine emergency broadcast. And when it's activated, the body holds on to water, stores fat, and here's the worst part. It raises your insulin levels. That's the hormone that locks the doors to fat burning. I followed a study once 3 months long. Middle-aged participants were put on a healthy diet, but without enough salt. The result, insulin levels went up, and their visceral fat. It didn't budge. But another group, same diet, but they added just a bit of natural salt to breakfast. They burned fat more easily, they slept better, and the late afternoon food cravings gone. You see, sometimes the thing we fear is exactly what the body has been quietly asking for all along. I know what you're probably wondering right now. So what should I do, Doc? Are you telling me I should start eating potato chips every day? No, not at all. What I'm talking about isn't the kind of salt that's dumped onto snack bags or hiding in salty sauces at the grocery store. I'm talking about real salt, the kind nature made. Not bleached, not anti-caked, not purified until it's practically meaningless. You can choose iodized sea salt or pink Himalayan salt, or even that light gray Celtic salt. These kinds of salts still contain trace minerals, magnesium, potassium, zinc, things your body needs to support a healthy metabolism, especially as we age. I remember a gentleman, his name was Howard, 67 years old, retired Navy. He said to me, "Doc, I've spent my life on the sea. I was never afraid of salt. But then the nurse told me to cut it out completely, and suddenly I felt weak, tired, and my belly started growing even though I wasn't eating much." So we went back to basics. Every morning, Howard drank a warm glass of water with just a 1/4 teaspoon of Celtic salt. No pills, no tricks, just a simple shift. 3 weeks later, blood pressure stayed steady, but his energy came back. And that stubborn belly, it finally started to soften, as if his body had stopped fighting and started trusting again. You see, salt, when used wisely, isn't just seasoning. It's a signal. It tells your body, we're safe now. No need to store. It's time to burn. These days, if you turn on the TV or scroll through social media, you'll see it everywhere. Advertisements for the so-called miracle injections. They call it the midlife weight solution. A shot that promises you'll lose 20 pounds in a few months. I'm talking about GLP-1 drugs, names like Ozempic and Wegovy sweeping across America like wildfire. Now, these medications were designed to mimic a gut hormone that suppresses appetite. And yes, on the surface, they do seem to work, at least for a while. But here's something you won't hear as often. Up to 40% of the weight lost isn't just fat, it's lean muscle and bone. And that's a real concern, especially as we age. I had a patient, Bill, 64 years old. He came to me and said, "Doc, I've lost the weight, but I feel weak. I can't keep up with my grandkids like I used to." I looked him in the eye and said, "Bill, your body doesn't need to be starved into submission. It needs to be understood. It needs support, not suppression." And what's more troubling, recent studies are now raising red flags about increased risks of depression and suicidal thoughts in some long-term GLP-1 users. Now, I'm not saying this happens to everyone, but I've worked with thousands of patients over 50. And I'll tell you this. Any method that trades away your mental health and muscle mass, that's not a real victory. That's why I always come back to the basics. Real food, restorative sleep, essential minerals like natural salt, not because they're magic, but because they're safe, they're sustainable, and your body knows exactly what to do with them. If only you're willing to listen. You know, after all these years as a doctor, I've come to realize something. The human body isn't broken. It's just trying to protect you. When you're low on salt, when you push yourself to lose weight, when you follow half-baked advice, your body isn't rebelling. It's just flipping on its survival switch. But surviving is not the same as living. And to truly live, you need to understand your body. Accept it. Give it what it truly needs. I'm not here to sell you salt. I just want you to know some of the most simple, natural things in life, like salt, have been misunderstood for far too long. Salt is not the enemy, used the right way. Salt is a signal, a message to your body that says, we're safe. You can let go. You can burn fat, balance your mood, and thrive. You don't need to chase flashy treatments or miracle shots. Sometimes all it takes is listening again to your body, starting with a warm glass of salt water in the morning, adding a pinch of real salt to a home-cooked meal, letting go of old fears and choosing new understanding. You've lived half a lifetime already. Now's not the time to get lost in rumors. Now's the time to become your body's wisest ally. And if you've stayed with me this far, I believe, you've already started. Before you turn off this video, I want you to ask yourself a simple question. When was the last time I truly felt light, energized, and alive in my body? Not light from skipping meals, not strong because of medication, but that deep feeling that you're finally in sync with your body. If it's been a while since you felt that way, then maybe today is the time to start again. You don't need to change everything. You don't have to wait until Monday. Just start with a warm glass of water and a pinch of natural salt tomorrow morning. Just start with looking at that salt container in your kitchen and not fearing it like you used to. Just start with choosing to understand your body instead of fighting it. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to remind you of one thing. At this stage of life, you deserve to feel light, not by pushing against your body, but by walking with it. And if anything I've shared today made sense to you, if it touched something in your heart, share this video with someone you care about. A friend, a sister, maybe that older neighbor who's still confused by all the mixed messages about salt and health. Because you never know. A small pinch of salt today could be the start of an entirely new life. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I know, in a world where everyone is rushing to chase the next trend, you're still here listening to something as old-fashioned as salt. But sometimes it's the simplest things that save us from the endless loops, the confusion, the exhaustion. Your body doesn't need miracles. It just needs to be understood. To know that when you're low on salt, you're not just missing a mineral, you're missing balance, healthy fat burning, and peace from within. And you can start again as soon as tomorrow morning. No promises, no 30-day plan. Just a warm glass of salty water, as gentle and steady as the trust you're learning to place back in yourself. I'm Dr. Daniel, 60 years old and still passionate about helping people like you come back home to their own bodies. Not to live longer, but to live deeper, lighter, and more truthfully. If anything I said today resonated with you, please hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need it. And if you have a question, an experience, or just want to talk, I read every comment. So don't hesitate to leave a few words below. I'll see you in the next video. And hey, don't fear salt anymore. Use it like a friend. Before you go, if today's topic stirred something in you, if a part of you feels like it's waking up again, I'd like to invite you to go a little deeper. In the next video, I'll talk about something that's also been misunderstood, just like salt fat. Because here's the truth. There are certain fats that don't make you gain weight. They help you burn fat, soothe inflammation, and nourish your brain cells. You can find that video right here, gestures to the upper right corner, or down in the description below. But if today you just want to stop at one simple thing, let it be this: a warm glass of salted water and a quiet trust that your body is still deeply intelligent. You don't need to fight it. You just need to listen in a new way. We'll meet again in another video, or in the comments, or maybe in that quiet moment when you, for the first time in years, feel light again inside your own body. Wishing you a peaceful day. And remember, healing isn't about speeding up. Sometimes it's simply about stopping and starting again the right way. I know, life doesn't feel so easy once we hit our 50s or 60s. The body slows down, old habits become stubborn, and sometimes we feel helpless even with ourselves. But you know what? Every time I meet a new patient, gray-haired hands slightly trembling, I always see something deeper, a heart that still longs to live fully. Not to be young again, not to transform, just to be healthier, calmer, and free from pressure. So if today you're feeling a bit slower, a little lost, please don't blame yourself. You're not broken, you're not weak. Maybe, just maybe, you're missing something simple that no one ever explained. Maybe it's salt. Maybe it's understanding. Maybe it's just someone sitting with you and saying, you are still deeply valuable even at 60, 70, or beyond. And if today I can be that someone, then these 30 years of being a doctor have truly been worth it. Thank you for listening.